slight cold, but I believe you'll be able to hear me clearly. So, good morning, everyone. So let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the 19th edition of the Safer Internet Day. So as the STR said, my name is Tarus. I'm the president of ISO Kenya chapter. So looking at the program, we have a section for introduction. So let me take this opportunity to introduce the officials of ISO Kenya, and also possibly the moderator of the day, if she will have logged in. So I'll start by introducing the officials of ISO Kenya present, and I'll start with myself. As I said, I'm Tarus. I'm the current president. Then we have with us here the Secretary General, Rapudo. Possibly when I mention your name, you can put on your video and you can wave to the participants.
Thank you. Welcome.
So that's Awi, the Secretary General. We also have, I don't know whether Joel Okomoli, the Treasurer, has arrived. Okay, has not yet.
Not yet.
We also have the Deputy President, Alphonse Olwen. I think he has also not logged in. He's yet to join. We also have the chairman of the, we also have the trustees. We have the trustees. Trustee number 1 is Edna Karicho. I think he's also yet to join in. We also have trustee Irene Misoi. I've also not seen her. I think he's yet to join. We also have Daniel Otieno, another trustee. I think he's also yet to join. And we also have chairman of standing committees, and I can see Albert Mikoa is with us, the chairman of membership and outreach committee. We also have Ervin Lumumba, who is the chairman of communications, the chairman of public relations and communications committee. I think he's also here to join. We also have Dr. Richard Omolo. He's also here to join us, the chairman of research and research committee. I can see also our former president, Adena Morgan, is here with us and is also one of the presenters. So welcome. So I also appreciate all the participants who have joined us today for this important event. And for the presenters, we'll introduce them later as they make their presentations. So feel welcomed. All of you are welcome to this important event. And looking at the program, is that the objective of this webinar is basically to bring together the key community stakeholders to address the issues of Safer Internet Day, Safer Internet, and digital smart villages. So the presenters that are here with us, the participants, will share in this seminar the experiences on Safer Internet and also best practices with the various actors and partners. So before I hand over to the moderator, let me give some opening remarks. Then from there, we'll continue with the other activities in the program. So because my internet is not so stable, it will allow me to give my remarks without the video. So let me once again welcome all of you to this year's Safer Internet Day webinar. But first, let me explain who we are as the Internet Society, the purpose of those who are not members of ISO. So the Internet Society is a global non-profit making organization working for a globally open, secure, and trustworthy internet for everyone. ISO Kenya chapter, therefore, is an affiliate of ISO Global. Membership to Internet Society is free and open to anybody. You can join our local chapter, ISO Kenya, by visiting the website of the Internet Society. And back to the business of the day. Today, we are observing the Safer Internet Day. This webinar is hosted by ISO Kenya in collaboration with Kijiji Yeetu. And Awi is one of the directors of Kijiji Yeetu. So in this webinar, we will listen to the presentations from various experts in the area of safer internet. Our presenters will be sensitizing us with online safety tips on how to be safe online, ranging from basic issues like using strong passwords, keeping your personal information safe, identifying internet fraud and scam messages, checking your privacy settings, etc. So today's webinar is therefore an opportunity for us, the internet community, to empower ourselves and communities on safety of the internet. Safer Internet Day is an annual event which aims to promote safe, responsible, and positive use of internet technology. Safer Internet Day is observed every year on the second day of the second week of February. This year, Safer Internet Day was celebrated yesterday on 8th February 2022 in approximately 200 countries across all continents. But due to logistical issues, we are observing it a day later here in Kenya. So this year, the theme of the Safer Internet Day is Together for a Better Internet. And this is a rallying call to all stakeholders to join together to make the internet a safer and better place for all, especially for children and young people. Safer Internet Day promotes a safer and more responsible use of online technology by children and young people around the world. It raises awareness on emerging online issues and current concerns such as cyberbullying, as well as raise awareness about the best internet practices in order to protect our safety online. As you are aware, the internet has become part of the very fabric of our everyday life. Internet is one of the technologies that has transformed the world, and it has changed how we live and work. Internet technology and social media enable young people to access educational resources, make social connections, build relationships, and demonstrate creativity. It is a powerful tool with enormous opportunities for learning, enhancing skills, and acquiring new abilities and knowledge. However, internet technology comes with challenges of online internet abuse. There are issues such as cyberbullying, misinformation, and online manipulation, as well as serious and organized crimes online. So the aim of Safer Internet Day is to advocate for a safer and better internet for everyone, children and adults alike. To address issues such as cyberbullying, there is need for collaboration between all actors, such as young people themselves, schools, parents, communities, and the whole society. The scope of cyberbullying will be less significant if all stakeholders step up and act responsibly. So in this Safer Internet Day, therefore, we are calling on everyone to play it safe and fair online. Let's campaign to make the internet a safer place for everyone. Everyone has a role to play in creating and maintaining a better online world. The internet has no place for online abuse, and we can, all of us, do our part to make life online enjoyable by being kind and respectful to each other. It is important that we respect the wishes, preferences, and privacy of others online. Safer Internet Day is a great chance to to involve all stakeholders to protect the children online and put a spotlight on online vices such as cyberbullying. We are aware that the Kenyan government is determined to act so that we can all enjoy the huge benefits of digital technology without our children and other vulnerable individuals being put at risk of serious harm. Among the legislations that address internet abuse in Kenya include the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act of 2018, Data Protection Act of 2019, and Kenya Information and Communications Act of 1998, among others. So ISO Kenya chapter, therefore, remains a significant stakeholder and partner in the governance and advocacy for growth of the internet in Kenya. As we advocate for growth of internet, we also advocate for safer and secure internet. So let me wish everyone a happy Safer Internet Day, and let's all play it fair online. So thank you very much, and God bless you. So let me hand over back to our moderator, and because our moderator has not joined in, I'll hand over the program back to our Secretary General, Rapudo, to guide us on the next activities in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Tarus, for those kind of remarks. And then it's very instrumental because what you've just put out is the basis of why we are gathered here today. So I believe everybody that is in this room, just try and whatever you can use, even just shake something or even just carry up your hand and thank the president for those kind of remarks. It's done quite well, and we can wave to you, whatever you can use. Even if you have something, you can even shout just for a minute so that you can know that the president can know that it's been acknowledged by members. So we acknowledge the president, wherever he is. Thank you so much. So basically we are going to the program, and I welcome each and every person that is able to join us. Looking at, I'll just share the screen so that we're able to see what we are talking about here. So in the screen here today, I'm just trying to open my, okay. I'm trying to open my, just 1 minute. I'm trying to share my screen so that we can be able to see what you are, okay, it's here. So this, the president has already talked about this. This is the background. I hope everybody is able to see. Just acknowledge to me if you're able to see. You can, okay, you can be able to see. He has talked about the introduction. This is the concept note. We're talking about a collaborative effort between ISO Kenya and the Kijiji Yeetu. And we're talking about the day was celebrated yesterday. So we are having a post Safer Internet Day event, which is on today. The theme is about Together for Better Internet. That's what we are talking about here. And you know, in the process of this internet society, all over the world has been trying to look at issues of internet. We have objective here we're talking about. One of the objectives is to try and bring all the stakeholders together in this day so that we can talk about the Safer Internet Day, which is a core component of the smart villages. So if we're looking at that, we're talking about having a platform which you're going to talk today, sharing our experiences, taking stock of where we are in terms of some of the presentations that are going to be. So going down, we have an, forget about the outcome, let's go to the program. The program, we've already had the presentation from the president. Then we are going to have now Athena Morgan, our former president, will be able to take the presentation. Then from Athena Morgan, we are going to have Armstrong Rapudo, the research lead from Kijiji Yeetu. Then we'll have Enoch Chiteri, who I believe is also here. Then we have Megan, who is also here, will be able to take us through our presentation. Then by that time, you hope, if Dr. Richard will not be able to have joined us, then we'll have Albert Migoa, then Dr. Richard, and then Joel Okomoli will be closing up for these presentations. Then I believe everybody will have 20 minutes because you're trying to be to respect time so that we can have a plenary discussion. So for that, that's what we have for now. So let me stop sharing for now so that we can give the minutes now for Athena Morgan, who can take over and if she wants to do a PowerPoint presentation, she can tell me, or she wants just to talk.
Good morning, Howie.
Thank you, Athena. Morning to you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll be doing a small PowerPoint slide.
So let me give you the host so that you can now do the presentation. So okay, now you have the host. Okay, is that okay?
Yes. I hope you can see my screen.
We are trying to see it. Yes, we are seeing it. Okay. I hope everybody's seeing. Over to you, Athena. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Howie. I was wondering why I'm the first person to speak. I don't know if it's because my name starts with letter A. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Athena Morgan. I am a lawyer by profession. I do legal tech consultancy. I'm a director at DigiSpace Safety Legal Tech Consultancy. I also facilitate the Child Online Protection Program with AFRALTI and Communications Authority. And I do a bit of freelance consultancy with some international organizations like ICMEC and Equality Now. It's a pleasure to be here today. And as you can see, my topic for today is online safety soft skills. And the question I get most of the time is, as a lawyer, why are you not focusing on the laws? You know, there are so many laws that make people, that criminalize acts online and offline and penalize and say what should and should not be done. And the main reason for this, or my motivation for going into consultancy and mainly focusing on the soft skills, is because whether there is this, I am meeting people because there's some disturbance. So, sorry, as I was saying is, the laws are there. The laws state what should and should not be done. But the problem is we play catch up most of the time. So you wait for something to go wrong so that you can say, the law protects me in one area or another, or I can just use the law to get remedied for the action that has taken place. But when you continuously interact with the online platform, you will realize that even if you get some sort of remedy from the legal field or the legal arena, it's not enough to remedy the damage that has been done. And that is why soft skills are very important. And I hope we can all agree on that right now. Don't wait for the law to give you a recourse. Prevent it before it happens, hence why you should protect yourself and those you care about online. So a rough summary, although our president has already talked about it, we know that Kenya is the Silicon Valley of East Africa, and there is a very fast intake of technology. Actually, I think even in the whole of Africa, other than South Africa, Kenya is among the leading countries in technology uptake. And then we have two groups of people on it. We have the adults and we have the young ones. The adults are mainly referred to, the ones who I think 30, 35 and above, are referred to as the digital immigrants, meaning they were not born with technology. They have come to learn about technology. But the young ones, the ones who are even 4 or 5 years right now, they're called the digital natives because they have been born into technology. They know how to set your phone and any other device faster and better than you would as an older person in the society. And we also know that the world has become a global village because of technology and internet connectivity, meaning that there are different kinds of people online. Some have values and traditions that we believe in, and others don't. Hence, we should be very careful when handling the online platform. I like starting by saying that the human factor is always the weak link. This is because it has very strong firewall in your company. You may have very strong or stringent security measures, but as long as you're visiting the wrong sites, as long as you're oversharing information, you will still end up compromising the integrity of your organization, the integrity of yourself and personal data, and even that of your children and close people or those that you relate with daily. So as much as technology can give us a platform to be able to secure our devices and our networks, if the person interacting with this technology doesn't necessarily to follow these guidelines, if they are not aware, then still the technology will be compromised and one will be subjected to any form of abuse or threat online. So for you, what does safety mean to you? For a child, safety means the ability to access child-friendly content online most of the time. And for a child, I probably mean someone below the age of 10. So they're able to play their games safely without getting pop-ups that probably redirect them to violence or such kinds of things that may cause psychological trauma. For students and their older children, the main issue in safety is to be able to browse safely. And safe browsing is because this is the age where they need to know more. They want to get more content. They want to answer the why questions in the world. Why do I feel like this? Why do I look like this? Why does the sun go around the earth or the earth around the sun, you know? So answering questions, they need safe and secure browsing. And also while they're interacting with others of the same age group on the online platform, they need to have wisdom on the information that they are sharing. So for a student, it's all about safe browsing and wisdom in information sharing. And this wisdom, where do they get it from? They get it from the parent, the person who introduced them to technology, the guardian, the teacher, the school. So everyone has a responsibility in guiding the children and the students when it comes to online safety. And for us as an adult, what does safety mean to you? And I said everything because basically it's everything. I play games on my phone. Sometimes I do research. Sometimes I visit scholarships. I try to connect with people online. I share personal information. And I need all this to be safe. I need to be able to navigate, and you need to be able to navigate the online platform in a safe and secure manner, knowing that everything that you're taking in and sharing is safe and its integrity is maintained. But there's also the issue of accessibility. And the question would be, what is accessibility? And that is the ability of an individual, regardless of whatever challenges they may be facing, to safely access technology. So let me give you an example. If a blind person or a person with visual impairment wants to access the internet, how would they do it? And I'd like us to, even as ISOC, to start thinking about accessible technologies, even as we look at internet for being for everyone. Because if a person who's impaired has a mobile phone, but the mobile phone doesn't have software on the phone, this adult may want to go to an M-Pesa shop to do a transaction. But since they cannot see the numbers on their screens, what will they do? Anyone? I'm kind of a trainer teacher, so I like talking in class and asking people to participate. So if a person is visually impaired, but the phone does not, let's say it's a mulika-mwizi, so it doesn't have the talkback features, and they might not be able to turn it on, and they need to withdraw money. So they go to an M-Pesa shop. What would they do? How would they do the transaction? Anyone would like to give it a try?
You can join in, please. You can join in.
Felix here talking.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Felix, I can hear you.
what they normally do, they normally hand over the phone to the M-Pesa attendant. So the attendant is the one who does the transaction on their behalf.
Exactly. That means they give out their PIN, right?
Yes, they give out their PIN.
Exactly. And that is already a breach of very private and confidential information. So who's to say that if this person, let's say Athena, is visually impaired, and I give the M-Pesa lady my phone and I tell her my PIN is 1040, and I tell her, please withdraw for me 500 shillings. Who's to tell that the person won't withdraw 700 and keep the 200 to herself? Or she would use that information in the near future when probably they think nimeomoka, and when I go there, they used to over-transact. Well, the point is, the technology was not accessible, so it compromised the private information of the person who has a certain form of disability. And that's why I said accessibility is also very important, because people with disability within it still play a very critical role, and therefore their private information should be private. And all developing technologies, including websites and portals and online platforms, should all be accessible to enable these people to protect their information, first of all, and also to have a way of knowing what is going on. For example, if there was a deaf person in this class today, would they be able to follow what we are doing? Because as much as I have pointers on my slide, I am explaining more on the pointers, but there are no captions and there's no sign language interpreter. What happens? It means they're locked out, therefore they don't get the necessary information that is needed to keep them safe. So basically, safety is for everyone. It can mean different things to different people, and we all have a role to play. As I move forward, because it's a very broad topic, these are basic steps. I didn't want to dwell much on this because we probably know all about it. Most of us are techies. We have strong passwords, two-step verification, avoiding open Wi-Fi, keeping softwares updated. You know all about this. That's why I didn't pay too much attention on this. And I'm also looking at my time. I already used 10 minutes. Okay. So what are some of the cyber threats that directly affect an individual? Cyberbullying, grooming, sextortion, and identity theft. Someone to post on the chat what they think grooming is and what sextortion is in their own opinion. Just post it on the text, on the chat, and I will read it out as I proceed. So cyberbullying, most people used to say that bullying happens only to children, but that is not the case. We've had cases of celebrities, cases of politicians, and even the common mwananchi who cannot even, we wouldn't bother to know about it because they're probably not important enough. We know that everyone has faced bullying at one point or another. So what do you do when you're bullied, or when someone is body shaming you because probably you look too big or your ideas seem a bit different? Most of the time, actually most adults today fall into depression because of bullying and online harassment. And people also have this fear of missing out, both adults and children. Actually, these threats they cut across board. So I'll just try and give a general summary. And since everyone is in a certain page or everyone is posting a certain thing, you think that you also have to be part of it. And maybe when you go there, you give an opinion that may not be expected, or someone just has it for you, and they end up name calling, insulting, and posting good remarks about you. And that's a form of bullying that happens both to children and to adults on the internet platform. The only thing is you don't know that you can actually leave groups, you can unfriend people who are harassing you online, and you don't have to be in everything that everyone is in, or you don't have to fit in. After all, everyone is a unique individual, and you can always protect yourself from some of these threats if you make smart choices online. But if it happens, at one point or another it will happen, it is always advisable to get help. If it's life-threatening, contact the police. If it is mentally disturbing, you can go for counseling. And people see therapy as something that is wrong in the society, but in today's day and age technology era, everyone needs therapy. So if something happens to you on the online platform, you should feel comfortable enough to seek assistance. Anyone who knows what grooming is? Okay, I will give a rough example. Let's say I am a single mom. I am having trouble with raising my child, working, school fees, and all other home responsibilities. And then I am ranting about it on Facebook or any other social media site. I just keep talking about it. And probably there is this guy who is probably a manipulator on the online platform, and he befriends me. And he starts consoling me, comforting me, telling me how it happens, and just sweet talking and warming me up to the idea that I will get through it eventually. And sometimes he even offers to help and all that. And we get cozy, and I'm like, okay, this guy may be actually someone who has my best intention at heart. So we start maybe even some kind of online relationship. We share images and stuff like that. And we know as adults, these things happen, not just to children. Adults have fallen prey to this a lot of times. And so it comes to a point where, so maybe he knows I work for the government, if I did work for the government, and maybe, so we've shared information, we've shared some pictures that may be compromising. And then one day now the guy decides to cash in and is like, I sent you money, you sent me this, and now I need you to get me information about a particular individual within your department in the Ministry of Gender, maybe let's say that's where I work. And if I refuse to get them what information they want now, they would be like, if you don't, we're gonna release your images. Or if you don't, we know where you live, we'll come and take your child, and issues like that. And it comes from a relationship perspective where the relationship becomes manipulative. And that is what we call grooming. So I have been warmed up to be used by this other person on the online platform just because they knew my weakness and they were able to figure out that I had, and now they're using that information. Or if I worked for a tech company and they're like, if you don't give us the security credentials, we're going to release your photos to everyone in your department. Obviously, that would be really bad for me. So in most instances, individuals who find themselves in that position end up trading company information in order to protect themselves. And you can't tell for how long this would go on or the damage that will eventually occur to the company. So you see, again, the human factor is the weak link. So grooming can also lead to sextortion, and that is extortion using sexual content, whereby if you shared sexual pictures or anything that could be sexually compromising, it would be used as a means of extortion. Still happens to adults and to children. And finally, identity theft, we all know about it, assumingly. And that happens mostly when you overshare information. Okay, leave the hacking part alone first, which is more like the technical part. But if you're constantly posting about your job, down to the letter, which department you work in, under which boss, the salary you get probably, and even sometimes you post your badge number to your work of your workplace. If you end up sharing too much information about yourself, about your job on the online platform, it is very easy for someone with malicious intention to take this information and create a new identity and use it to commit crime. So then you don't have to share everything about yourself, about your job, especially personal information, or even about your child, because not only would it lead to identity theft, but it can also be an avenue for crime by people who follow you, because not everyone who follows you is genuinely your friend. I'm brushing through. So if you are in any kind of online trouble, what do? You report. Whom do you report to? You can report to the social media platform if it's bullying mainly that's occurring, harassment, or sexual exploitation or sexually explicit images that are being shared. All social media platforms have a reporting platform. If it is life-threatening or threatening your safety or someone that you know or someone who's close to you, it is always important to report to the law enforcement. That's the police or the DCI cyber crime unit. they have a specialized unit that deals with the same. Also report to the IT department in case you have clicked on a site that was not secure, and you can see funny things happening on your screen, or if you have overshared information. It is always good to let the IT department of the organization that you're working with know, so that they may prevent more damage from happening to the entire company system. And for children, especially child sexual exploitation, we have the Internet Watch Foundation reporting portal. I will share the link with you on the chat after this. It helps you report anonymously any form of child sexual exploitation or sexual images that may be going on, taking rounds online. We know they have happened a lot. And the portal notifies the DCI who are able to investigate the case, and you can do it anonymously. So reporting is also one of the best options that you have. My last subtopic, this topic is so good, I've tried to summarize it. Addiction, that is an inability to function normally in the absence of technology. So this is technology addiction. How do you know if you're addicted to technology? I am sure most of us have some form of addiction. Do you eat, sleep, drink technology? Are you able to pay attention to your co-workers, to your children, to the members of your family? Or you're constantly talking to them, but you're just typing. So you're like, someone's like, Daddy, I have homework. What they're talking to you, but you're very busy on your phone. You're not even paying attention to what they're saying. So when they finish and they're looking at you like, what did you say? And the cycle continues on and on. Are you able to sit down and have supper and have a decent conversation with the members of your family without people being constantly on the phone? We're told nowadays cousins get-togethers are just competition to see who has better phones, because even when you're in a get-together, everyone just has a mobile device and no one is talking to the other. You'd find even someone texting someone who's across the chair to them and they're laughing, and you're wondering, why don't you just talk it out loud? So addiction is the inability to function normally. Can you go for an hour without your phone? Can you take a break from your device? Can you focus on an activity that doesn't require a technology device and not feel empty? If you can't, you may be registering signs of addiction. Are you moody? Are you grumpy? Are you unreasonable? Are you aggressive when you're away from technology, when you're away from TV, when you're away from a movie, and you're away from your phone? That is addiction. So it cuts across both adults and children. And it's very unfortunately that there's a report I was reading that children under 7 years have been rated as the most tech addicted population. Because we buy our children phones, we buy them tablets, we don't set limits on how much time they're supposed to use on their devices. So they're constantly on the device. So the day you tell them to put the device aside and do a chore is the day you will realize how much hooked they are to the device, because probably they wouldn't do the chore as required, or they would do it, but in a very bad mood. You wouldn't be able to talk to them. They would be rude, they would be aggressive, and they would be moody. So if you have children and they're using technology, please set limits. 2 hours a day. A child who's below 7 doesn't need to use technology for more than that. They should go out and play. When they finish with their game, when they finish with their homework, those who do it online, let them go out and play and do something else that is developmentally positive, and not get hooked to technology, because they won't even be able to learn their talents and their areas of strength. Okay, maybe Harry, one day you'll give me some more time to go through this in depth, but that is what there is about addiction. So what's the way forward? As I conclude, technology is a double-edged sword, meaning it cuts both ways. Technology is not bad, technology is not good. Technology is what you make of it. So keep that in mind. Make wise decisions online, advise your children, the younger people, all the people who are under your influence, and make sure that you remain cyber aware. Keep gaining knowledge on different aspects of technology, emerging threats, and especially for us who are in this digital space, so that we can be able to educate others. And also remember that safety is a personal and collective responsibility. So make it your responsibility. Take care of those around you, take care of your organization, because if you don't, you might just end up compromising everyone else who is close to you, whether in the organization or in your family. Remember, the human factor is always the weak link. Thank you so much. My name is Athena Morgan. Thank you, Howie.
Thank you, Athena. I think you made it quite clear in terms of what we want to do. And one of the things you said is that 7-year-old children are now using phones, which means it's affecting so much of the value systems and is affecting some of the things that we're doing. How are we mentoring our children? How are we ensuring that they're using safer internet? So I don't want to dwell on your subject because we are an expert on that, and we look forward to having more discussion. So I want to take it to the next level by allowing, first of all, we can acknowledge to you so that also you don't feel like we've left your side. So those ones that I can acknowledge, maybe you can show a thumbs up on your for Athena. And those ones that can open the video, just wave up to Athena. So thank you, Athena, for the good presentation. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alphonse. Thank you, VP. I know you'll be closing up and giving a vote of thanks. So to Mfalme Armstrong, please take over, and you are the next online. Thank you so much. Mfalme? You are muted. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
We have made you post again.
Yes, I'm handing over I'm just trying to hand over the host to him, so he can talk as he wants to share his presentation. Welcome, Falme.
I hope I'm now good.
Yes, you're good. You can go on. You can see your presentation.
So basically, my name is Rapudo. I'm from Ugunja. I work with Kijiji Yeetu, but I also lecture. Basically, I'm also in the IT field. So because of time, I just wanted us to go through this thing and be able to understand it better. And I want to start by thanking Sister Athena so much for bringing and making it easier for me to present. Basically, we are looking at the safety of the internet from the village perspective. Because to us, a smart village is simply a community within the rural area. And these guys who are we're trying to work with together to be able to have smart villages, they are going to use innovative solutions. They will try to be able to have alliances, and they must be able to actively participate. So when we are looking at this smart village, we are looking at a center whereby we can be able, the village perspective, have a collection point, which according to my screen, I'm calling it a village server. Because with the internet or with communication or technology, a group of people whose gadgets are connected together, they will form a network and they can be able to communicate. So within the village setup, we will have a place whereby individuals can be able to gather information and be able to share information. So on one aspect, I will have this health guy, a healthcare worker within the village who will be able to send information to the mobile phones of women about how to take care of their babies, how to go through the universal health care. We will be talking about that banking within the village setup. Remember, we'll also have chamas. So within this smart village, within a village where guys have come together, put themselves together, and they are actively using technology to be able to get solutions. So we are talking about health, we are talking about banking, we are talking about education. The teacher can be able to come and be able to fill information that is required by their employer. These youths who have finished Form 4, They're having a point whereby they can be able to come and look for jobs online. Because remember, some of them are having mobile phones without connection. Gadgets that we have within the smart village to be able to be connected. So within the smart village, again, we are talking of a situation whereby the local administration can be able to send information. Mbuzi ya mtu imepotea. We can be able to post it. Something has been found. There is a motorbike that was lost and has been found. So we are talking about having these gadgets and being able to share them. So once we have set up this smart village, we will have connected people, we will have connected assets, we will have connected infrastructure, the operations will be connected. It means that there'll be a seamless integration of activities within the village. But as Athena was talking about these changes that are being brought by the village, things are cropping up. Technology changes have come in because of the interconnection. There is a change in the environment in the sense that some people now might be using their gadgets as phones, for example, smartphones, to be able to know climate change. They are using their phones which they have connected. Maybe somebody amefuga kuku, is having CCTVs or is having gadgets that can be able to be interconnected, and he's using his or her phone to see how they are in their coop. So we are having these changes coming in to the village. Remember, guys are seated. Remember, guys are working from their homes. Some are within a center, but they are communicating one to another. But what are we talking about today? That was just an introduction. We are really talking about how safe is the village based on this technology advancement. The people using their gadgets, the people sharing gadgets, the people borrowing gadgets, which threats can be able to ensure they are not safe? Because being safe means, number one, either we are protected from, or two, we are not exposed. You could be protected from something, or simply you could not be exposed for something. So within the village setup, and as these guys are coming and they are being set up in the group, and there's a lot of communication. Guys are going online doing job sites. Guys are downloading apps to be able to share information with mothers in the village. This local banker or this chama is be able to put information about the chama members. How safe is that gadget? So saying, number one, there has to be security threats which are going to meet these people. Number two, another thing, we have to protect and manage personal data. And number three, while we are online, we must ensure our reputation is able to stand the test of time. Though most of you will agree, an individual online and an individual in person are usually two different people. When you meet me online and you meet me in person, you are like, "Ai, huyu kweli ni ule." It is because people are able to hide under the technological gadgets. But we will be seeing that, and as much as we can be able to hide by putting pictures that are not ours, sharing names that are on the social media which are not ours, but the question is, how safe is the content within our mobile phone? Yes, you have hidden yourself. Yes, you have put that picture on the social media page that is not you. The name you have used there is not yours. But remember, you have information on your mobile phone. Which information do you have? You have contacts of people, you have videos that you've taken or downloaded, you have photos that you have taken, you have emails on your phone, and you have things. Yes, online, nobody understands you, but inside the gadget you are using, there is data about yourself. So the question is, we have to avoid this harmful and illegal content from being exposed. So the question is, if I am bringing my village online, if I am having a smart village, are they safe? In order for us to do this, we have to think like the people who want to get to us. How do they get to us? In thinking like a hacker, somebody who wants to get information from us, we must understand, because the question is, for you to be safe, you must know what they do. Most of us go online, we download apps, and these apps we download, we normally download them so that we can be able to use them for a particular job. Things we normally do is we give rights. It asks you, I want rights to your contacts. I want rights to be able to connect to your photos. The app asks you, I want rights to be able to write into and out of your mobile phone. And most of us, without reading, we always give the rights or we click on OK. Now, when the hacker comes to the phone, one of the things that he normally does is called footprinting. To attack, any person who wants to attack you must be able to do a reconnaissance. They must be able to come and see how you behave. How do they get our behavior? When we are online, the things we are posting, what we are looking for, which kind of character are we portraying online? It usually shows them you are an intended target. It shows them you are somebody they can be able to get to and see what you have. So one thing they do is footprinting, trying to get to know who you are. Number two, they do what we are calling scanning. In scanning, they try to probe for information online. Who is he? What other social pages does he have? After that, they scan your gadget, your mobile phone or your laptop to see what or how vulnerable you are. After they are seeing how vulnerable you are, they try to get to see which usernames you're using, and some of us, you realize our phones, we are able to store usernames and passwords. Even some of us in our mobile phones. Do you know what we have done? The PIN of your bank account, which you don't know offhand, put an app and said, actually going into your contacts for a particular item, either your bank account, either your M-Pesa or whatever. We are the ones, we are enumerated. How are we enumerated? Is it possible that this person gave us the administrative rights? If as hackers, as a hacker, the hacker takes over those rights of your mobile phones. After he does that, the hacker will use the information they have gathered to gain ingress into your mobile phone or to your laptop or wherever they want to. They will use the administrative rights and be able to hack into you, then be able with those rights.
I know you have, can you move your slide so that people can see? Thank you. Sorry for cutting you.
Yes.
I'll say
Slide.
Your slide.
It's okay. Imekuja.
Yes, you can just move on because of time. Just move on.
Yes, you can just move on. I will post the the
Slides.
the
sorry,
presentation.
sorry.
So once the hacker gets in, he's able to get the privileges. And after that, he will direct his tracks and do what? He will plant what we call a backdoor. A backdoor is simply a program that he will now later on use to be able to get into your mobile phone anytime he wants. Why does he or she leave a backdoor? Because remember, you will be downloading, you will be in, after that, you will be going into other WhatsApp groups. And in these other WhatsApp groups, what will you be doing? In these other WhatsApp groups, you will be trying to bring in other people. And they'll also from you, they'll be able to get themselves to other people. Once they have been able to do that, they now have you, and from you, they can move on. So we are trying to say that on these safer days within the villages, we will try to ensure that all our gadgets must be very, very safe. We will have to ensure that the guys who are using browsers, we have to update the browsers. We have to avoid giving personal information. We have to ensure that we have secure internet connections. We will encourage our people to have strong passwords, because for most of us, our passwords are the year we were born, or the name of our spouses, or our names. They are easy and simple to come. A strong password will be one which has letters, numbers, a mixture of capital letters and small letters. We should advise people to use those types of passwords. Then another thing is that we should try to tell guys to download apps that are only coming from stores. For example, last time we were learning GB WhatsApp. GB WhatsApp cannot be downloaded from the App Store, meaning that somebody will give you a link to be able to download it, then he will ask you for your rights to be able to load it in you. Now, the question that happens is this: if these persons cannot be able to be trusted to put GB WhatsApp on Google Apps, what is the problem that I don't want to get into? It always download apps from trusted stores. Another thing, always back up your data. Ensure that your contacts are backed up. Ensure that each and everything you do, you have a copy and log out of sites. Howie, I want to take very less time so that we can have more time for doing what? For discussion. I think at that point, I just want to open up the field so that people can be able to also come in and be able to do what? Let us discuss this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mfalme. You've said quite a lot of things, and you say about it's important to back up data, and it's important that we're trying to build a village where people are trying to do a lot of things. So how can we make sure that there's safe internet? I don't want to spend a lot of time, but we need to acknowledge to you. We can carry up our hands and share and say hello and acknowledge him and say thank you so much. Thank you, Mfalme. We have Enoch. Enoch, thank you. We have Enoch. You can hand over back the host to me so that you can hand over Mfalme back there. Enoch Chiteri from the Kenya Youth Parliament. Are you here with us?
Yes.
I have given Chiteri the host.
The host, yeah. So Chiteri, you can
Chiteri is
over
the host.
Okay, thank you. You can check the host and share your screen. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Enoch Chiteri from Siaya County, currently convening the Youth Parliament movement in Kenya. I'll be able to take us through what the Parliament is all about and how we use the digital space in our work. I hope I'll be fast enough.
Yes, you have.
Are we able to see?
Yes, Enoch, you have from now is 11:11. You can end up at 11:23 or something like that. 11:25, I think.
11:23. 11:23.
11:25.
Okay.
Just proceed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to introduce what the Youth Parliament is. It is a platform that we use for advocacy. It is a youth-led and youth-focused initiative, and we are using advocacy approaches to push social accountability agenda. We focus on health, education, economic empowerment, social empowerment, and governance. We have different platforms that have already been created across the country. We have several chapters in Siaya County. We have 2 chapters in Homa Bay County. We have upcoming chapters in Migori also. We have a chapter in Narok, and we also have another chapter coming up in Kajiado in the next few months. So it is a platform that's pushing for social change, and it is entirely driven by the young people and owned by the young people. The design of the Youth Parliament is just like the normal National Assembly or County Assembly, complete with the structures of the speaker, the clerks, the committees, and the members. And we have members who represent, apart from the regions they come from, they represent different sectors. Those are the youth in business, the youth from institutions, the youth working with the communities and community organizations, and the youth representing different professions within the community. Our mission is to amplify youth voices for action on good governance and social accountability, because for a long time, the young people have been, by design or by default, they've been missing in decision-making platforms, in committees, in very key committees, key meetings where the agenda is tabled, and we feel we need to be present in such spaces. Our vision is accountable society. Now that's just a sample of how the Youth Parliament sits, complete with the members from both sides, so facing each other. Then we have the speaker and the clerks at one end. It's just like the normal assembly that you see. That's some of the photos of activities that we engage in. In this meeting, you are interrogating the budget documents for the county and giving our views, which we later sent to the Department of Economic Planning, as well as the County Assembly Committee for Budget and for consideration. And we've seen a lot of success in the views that we've continuously given. We work with different partners in our engagement. Locally, we have organizations like Tembea Youth Center, we have Siaya Muungano, we have UDI, we have Talanta Youth Empowerment Center, we have Malaika Foundation, Ukahik, and many other organizations that we have locally. And we also partner with organizations that have presence in our county, in the counties that I've mentioned, like Amref Health Africa, Naya Kenya, VSO, and many other organizations that have interest in advocacy and empowering of the young people. Those are some of the sample of photos that we have frequently in our meetings. Now, how do we use the digital space in our work? And this is very critical. We use the digital space for visibility of our work. We use websites, we use social media platforms to build our social change movement and agenda. And we also use the digital space for fundraising and connecting with the organizations that have interest in empowering the young people, and especially those organizations that want to give the young people the voice and the capacity to speak out and to present their issues. We also hold online meetings and trainings using the digital space, and we can recall that last year we had lessons learned in those of us who are working with organizations and communities and who frequently hold meetings and physical meetings and community engagements and things like that, and moving from place to place. And we all witnessed that the world had to adapt to new ways of doing things, and having online meetings was one of those strategies that was well seen. So webinars came into play, online meetings came into play, Zoom, Google Meet, and such kind of engagements really helped. But other than what was happening last year, in the course of last year and part of the other year, and we still continue right now, we've been using these platforms to engage locally and also internationally, and having meetings and with members with whom we share COPs and all that, and it's been one of the greatest platforms. The digital space has given us the opportunity to engage beyond our local community and to engage beyond the social interaction that we have around us. And the other way that we use the digital space and which we use the internet mostly is media advocacy. And for a long time, before the growth of geotechnology was seen, there was the advocacy that was done by social movements like us, which was mostly local and physical in nature and didn't have to involve a lot of media then. Or if it was media, it was maybe the local radio stations and all that. But with the growth of the digital technology and the increasing number of phones within our communities, we've been able to upscale media interactions using mobile phones and using iPads and computers to engage more and more. And we use the phones to identify advocacy issues and track and monitor advocacy agenda in our midst. And this has been very, very helpful. We also use phones and such kind of gadgets for reporting community issues such as SGBV, where we use hotlines and some platforms that have been designed for tracking such kinds of issues. We all know that there are hotlines that are being used, which you can use either offline or online, depending on how they are designed. We also have specific spots that have been created within websites where you can be able to report such cases. We also use phones to mobilize people for advocacy work, and especially the use of applications like WhatsApp, where we are all in different platforms that we've been designed to be in by choice or by default. And you find you have a pool of persons who you want to interact with. And in such spaces, we also share advocacy issues and mobilize people to attend. The Youth Parliament has engaged aggressively in policy and budget advocacy in our counties. And one of the major areas of concern has been how do the community participate in such kind of initiatives? How do they attend meetings? How do they propose issues on specific agenda? How do they put their views across for consideration by the county government or the national government at whichever level of that interaction? And we've realized that they need to be mobilized somehow. But because almost everyone has a phone and majority of people are in WhatsApp, finding them in WhatsApp has been an easy way of pushing for that kind of mobilization. As a social movement, we also use the internet for research and analysis and advocacy work, because we base our work on factual data that has been verified and has also been documented, but they carry the weight of the issue that we want to push for. So the internet has helped us in getting this kind of data and analyzing some of them if need be, and backing our agenda with that kind of data. We also have engaged and pushed for campaigns online using Twitter chats and online discussions. And this we frequently do in conjunction with some of our partners who are also in similar spaces. Citizen journalism is also an area that we aggressively push for, so that our members are able to document issues real time whenever they happen for speedy action and consideration by those who are mandated to address them. And data and research is also an area where the digital space has helped us to strengthen and to aggressively work on. We work with the young people, and we've documented concerns and case studies of how positively and how negative the young people use the digital space. And because this topic talks about the digital development, it's important to recognize that the young people, being as aggressive as they are, as excited as they are, and as upcoming and talented and skillful, the millennials have been able to show the world how talented, how skillful, and how creative they are in creating their own spaces. But some of the things that have happened has also been negative. So positively, there've been a lot of social interaction and networking among young people all over the world. And it has created the digital, the world to be so small. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and blogs have created that opportunity. Learning and exploring opportunities has also been a great opportunity for young people to engage in. You go and browse specific sites for progressive content, searching for sites for scholarship, and many other things that you can be able to get from the internet. And also sharing talents and skills and progressive actions. The YouTube currently has been the greatest lifter of talents and such kind of actions we see from the young people. YouTubers are gaining so much right now, sharing comedy and short skits. They've been able to generate content that are being either attractive to millions of people. Those who are in the music industry are earning just as much, and I think it's been very exciting. We've also seen young people sharing the individual work. Those who are doing farming, just sharing the best practices in farming, in agribusiness, sharing the little steps of the action they do, the progress, the challenges, and people see this real time and respond, and people are able to ape what's happening all over the world from this kind of activities. But negatively also, we've seen internet addiction, and I think Athena Morgan just brought it out very clearly how this also affects our society. People are addicted to internet. People will get glued to their phones, their tablets, their computers at the expense of those who they are around. And we've also seen young people accessing and using illicit content, gaming sites and porn sites. It's been documented, and it's not long ago when it was reported that some of the games that we see online that the young people follow influence them negatively. Some get in depression, some have suicidal tendencies, and this is very negative. Cyberbullying, stalking, and extortion. Athena spoke to this very well, and it's also one of the negative ways that young people have found themselves in the digital space. And we've seen in many countries, I think in the West, in the western part of Africa, Ghana, Senegal, where young people are stalking personalities and extorting money and stealing their identities and trying to package themselves as who they are not. And this has been very detrimental. I think maybe this because of poverty and things like that. And then pushing negative agenda, negative politicking. And this, because Kenya is currently in a political mood, you go to the social media and it's very, very traumatizing. Young people from all walks of life. Yes, yes, Howie, yes.
You can wind up in the next 1 minute, please.
Yes. So negative politicking is taking this country to levels that need to be regulated. As I finish, and I think I'll be able to do that in the next 1 minute, we recommend that looking at even our theme, Together for a Better Internet, we need to prioritize digital empowerment and enhance digital skills empowerment for the youth. And we also need to increase coverage of digital programs such as Ajira Digital Platform, Nairobi, to communities that they are not able to be found, but also we understand the infrastructural challenges that are there. How can we also regulate internet use and strengthen policies that make digital space more friendly and productive? And finally, enhance partnerships with local and grassroots organizations like the Youth Parliament, wherever they are, local organizations and CBOs, to increase viability of digital space in the communities and the smart villages. I think that marks my final contribution in this particular segment. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Enoch. Thank you. You can hand over the host back to me. Thank you, and you can stop sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Now I know Megan is on the way, but very important things that Enoch has touched on. The most way to go is that we need more digital empowerment for young people within the village, given the issue of the negative use of social media. So I need just instead of wasting a lot of time, give it to Megan. So Enoch, hand over to Megan Kature so that Megan can take over and she can start presenting. So Megan, I think we have the.
Thank you.
Enoch, can you hand over the host? Or I can reclaim the host.
Yes, I've done that. Have I done it? No, not really.
You have handed over to Donna Sabuao. Abuao, can you hand over the host, please?
Okay.
Yeah. Whom do I hand it?
I think I
hand it to Internet Society of Kenya. And
okay,
Internet Society.
So,
okay.
Yeah, sorry for the mismatch. Okay.
So, Megan, you start talking and I make you the host. Welcome, Megan. It's now handed over to you. So you have until 11:45. So the floor is here for you. Thank you. But before you come in, Enoch, we can just acknowledge to Enoch for those beautiful presentation. Enoch, thank you. Thank you. We can acknowledge to you. Thank you. We hand over to Megan. Kazi kwako.
Thank you very much. Mine will be very brief comments. I hope you can hear me. Mine will be very brief comments on some of the things we would need to improve on or focus on even during this in celebrating Safer Internet Day. So my focus will be on encryption and just a brief highlight on digital rights with respect to women. So digital or online spaces themselves do not refer only to internet spaces such as social media platforms and forums such as Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or online marketplaces, blogs, or personal websites, but they also refer to environments that facilitate interactions between people and technology. And this could include applications such as smart fridges, Fitbit, surveillance cameras, technologies. Promoting a safer internet, therefore, should go beyond championing for safety in the digital interfaces we use, such as social networking sites, but also physical mediums facilitating human and technology interactions. And in this sense, then we will need to identify and concern ourselves with what type of data is collected and ensuring that in these digital interfaces that that mediate between human interaction and technology, that there is adherence to data protection principles such as the principle of necessity and proportionality. One of the challenges in online spaces is that they often harbor and perpetuate threats to the experiences of women participating in them. Women are disproportionately impacted by online violence, such as image-based sexual abuse, non-consensual distribution of intimate images, as well as online scams and hacks. Women have been noted to be twice as likely as men to have their intimate images shared without their consent. And the lack of gendered approach to online aggravation and crimes makes it difficult for women to seek help from public and private authorities. Another aspect that we will need to focus our attention in promoting safer internet is the spread of misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. And these are examples that are also threaten women's digital experiences. And on this facet, my message will be they'll need to promote platform accountability, algorithmic transparency, reviewing the type of data sets that big tech companies use during their technologies rather. Moving on to the use of encryption, we know that encryption is a feature that is a vital element in today's telecommunications sphere. And the way to achieve a truly end-to-end communication system is to indeed encrypt the content of the data exchanged between the people communicating. I'll highlight three core features of end-to-end encryption from an implementation perspective. And these three features include authenticity, confidentiality, and integrity. So authenticity in an end-to-end communication system promotes, or rather it enables the recipient to be certain of the person who sent the message, and the sender is certain who received it. With respect to confidentiality, our end-to-end system provides message confidentiality of only the sender, and intended recipients can read the messages in plain text. A plain text is a message that has not been encrypted. The last feature, that is integrity, this refers to when a system guarantees that messages have not been modified in transit. So a recipient is assured that the message they have received is exactly what the sender intended to send. So with respect to the role of encryption in local community and digital smart villages, it will be pertinent to note that in smart villages, there are a number of Internet of Things technologies, and this Internet of Things technologies are usually associated with billions of gadgets with a network, and there's thus an immense number of information that is constantly being exchanged and being gathered and being moved and sent at the same time. And so we need to incorporate encryption in modern technologies, especially Internet of Things technologies, even in digital smart villages. And one of the roles of end-to-end encryption, or even encryption at large, is the benefits. One of the benefits is that it secures financial transaction, it ensures and enables secure communication, and therefore we can say that encryption plays a crucial role in how we use the internet today. However, encryption as a technology is a double-edged sword, because it is being used or exploited by bad actors to commit crimes, and hence there has been a call by states to undermine encryption. However, the attempt by states to have backdoors to encrypted system is not in and of itself a good call, because its impact is disproportionate to the role that it seeks to achieve. And one of the ways of balancing, or rather trying to see how encryption is useful in our societies today, is looking at it from a socio-political and economic perspective. One proven economic effect of weakening encryption is that there is reduced consumer trust there's stifled technological innovation, there's diminished e-commerce activity, which decreases economic competitiveness. Therefore, by and large, it creates a negative economic impact. From the social political lens, we will need to understand how encryption plays a role in implicating certain human rights, national security, and public safety. And so one of the ways to maintain a balance between ensuring that encryption promotes human rights and at the same time law enforcement agencies are able to nab in bad actors is to make sure that one, any proposals for weakening encryption can only or should only be imposed for legitimate grounds, that they must also conform to the strict tests of necessity and proportionality, and that they must also they must meet the strict test of necessity and proportionality, and therefore outright prohibitions on the use of encryption should not be disproportionate to the lawful ends that they seek to achieve. That will be the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Megan. I think that's quite informative. We're talking about end-to-end encryption, where we are talking about our villages as you're moving towards the 21st century. Where will they be in terms of trying to look at their safety, where you're talking about the Internet of Things, and how are we able to ensure that some of the people using some of the gadgets are able to secure them, like the youth groups that Enoch was talking about, and also Athena talking about the issue of cyberbullying. So I don't want to waste a lot of time. Maybe we can hand over back the host from me as we acknowledge to you. We can acknowledge to Megan for the good presentation. Just good that you did us a very good presentation. Thank you. We can hand over the host to me, Megan. You can hand over the, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So without wasting a lot of time, I go to Albert Migoa. Albert Migoa. Then from Albert Migoa, we were supposed to have Dr. Richard Omolo. Now that, and then Joel was the one supposed to close the meeting for the way today, given that is the secretary and one of the executive members. Albert Migoa. Albert, are you?
Hi. Yes, kindly share my presentation.
Okay, I'm doing it. Just a minute. 1 minute. Just 1 minute, Albert. You can start talking as I'm getting the presentation.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. My name is Albert Migoa, and I define myself as a wellness creator. So as that, I do three things. I am a counseling psychologist, I am an emotional intelligence trainer and coach, and I'm also involved in aspects of mentorship. Besides that, I'd like to make a point of correction. I'm the head of communications and public relations and not outreach, as earlier mentioned. So today we'll be looking at how emotional intelligence influences, or how emotional intelligence will ensure that we can be safe online. So I think I'll just begin by just giving us the objectives of this particular presentation. That one, we'll get to understand what emotional intelligence is all about. Number two, we'll get to know what are some of the various competencies and skills that pertain to emotional intelligence. And finally, three, see the link between emotional intelligence and being safe in the digital space. So as I begin, I'd like to begin by just defining what emotions are. So emotions are basically biological processes that emanate from a part of our brain called the amygdala. And the amygdala concerns itself with feelings such as anger and fear. So thereby, emotions, therefore, are signals from the brain, signals from the brain that either a threat or reward has been identified in our environment. And the messages can then be accompanied by a physical response, which drives you either to turn away from the threat or take you towards the reward. So for example, you can imagine if maybe you're on your way home and along the road you come across maybe, let's say, a snake. What will you do? You will perhaps run or scream or go the opposite direction. So that is a threat. And when it comes to a reward, a good example is, I always say, children. Whenever a child does a good deed, we tend to reward them with, for instance, a sweet. So if a child, let's say, does their homework or maybe has improved in their schoolwork, we tend to reward them with perhaps a sweet. And what that does to the child, it encourages the child to keep on doing that behavior. So consequently, the behavior will be consistent, hence the reward. The next slide, please. So now we know what emotions are. So now what is intelligence? Now, intelligence has been defined differently by different people and different researchers. But the researchers agree that intelligence has two key components. That one, the ability to learn from experience, and number two, the ability to adapt to your environment. Okay, so to learn from experience in what sense? I mean, every single day we are learning, whether from the time you wake up, and my best example is the traffic that we experience, for instance, in Nairobi. I mean, if you wake up at a particular time and you come across traffic, what does that mean? It means that the next time you want to wake up perhaps a bit earlier and perhaps use a different route. So in that way, you find that you have learned from experience and you've adapted to the context of where you are at, and in this case, the crazy Nairobi traffic. So now we've looked at what emotions are, and we've looked at what intelligence is. So therefore, what is emotional intelligence? So emotional intelligence, therefore, is the ability to understand and manage your emotions and that of other people. And other people call it people skills or people smartness. Now, the study or the conversation around emotional intelligence was made popular in the mid-90s by one psychologist known as Daniel Goleman. And it was through his book titled Why Emotional Intelligence Matters More Than IQ. And I'm going to talk about his competency models, which are 4 of them. And this is what constitutes emotional intelligence as far as Daniel Goleman is concerned. 1, we have what you call self-awareness. Number 2, we've got what you call self-regulation. Number 3, we have got what you have social awareness. And number 4, we have got what you call relationship management or social skills. I will briefly explain each of them. So what is self-awareness? So self-awareness concerns itself with being able to understand, evaluate, identify one's feelings. And self-awareness has got various competencies and skills. Within it, we've got aspects of self-confidence, where you're able to understand and know your self-worth. It has aspects of being able to understand your weaknesses and strengths. And it has also got it also has got the aspect of emotional awareness, being aware how you're feeling at every one given time. The second competency is what you call self-regulation. So self-regulation concerns itself with being able to understand your emotions at any one given time and thereby respond appropriately. The third one is social awareness. So social awareness concerns itself with being able to understand and respond to the needs of other people. within social awareness, we look at skills such as empathy, where, according to layman's language, being able to feel and sense things from one's point of view. We've got organizational dynamics, which involves being able to understand the dynamics that in any given organization. And we've got service orientation, which concerns itself with giving service. The final tier of emotional intelligence is what I call relationship management or social skills, which concerns itself with how we relate and interact with people in the society. And there are various skills under this. I'll mention but a few. We've got issues around being a change agent, whereby one individual wants to bring about change. You've got one who is a development catalyst, who wants to see development through positive criticism and getting feedback. We've got the aspect of even networking, the aspect of communication and decision making and problem solving. And you realize all these skills are key skills that leaders actually have. Now, what have we learned thus far? We've learned really very briefly, in a nutshell, what emotional intelligence is. And I've said emotional intelligence concerns itself with being able to understand one's emotions and that of other people. I have mentioned the 4 key competency models, which are 1, self-awareness, 2, self-regulation, 3, social awareness, and 4, social skills or relationship management. So now we want to look at what is the link between emotional intelligence and digital safety. Now, under this link, I'm going to focus on 3 key skills, namely emotional awareness, and 2, problem solving and decision making. And thirdly, there's a third one. Kindly go to the last slide. The last slide. Okay, let's just begin. I'll remember it as we go down. So let's begin from the top. Let's go to the first one. Let's go to slide number 11.
Sorry. It's hanging. Sorry there.
Okay.
It's hanging. Sorry for that. Just go on as I just. Sorry for that. Sorry for this.
Okay, so let me begin. So when talk of emotional awareness, remember the whole idea of digital safety, and in this context, I want to look at the aspect of social engineering in terms of what hackers mainly seek to do. They mostly tend to employ emotional manipulating tactics to be able to derive certain information from us. So the whole idea is what they do, they always tend to identify the weak link in any given chain. So to be aware about some of this, to be aware about the potential danger, it is very important to keep in mind the following points. And one is the aspect of emotional awareness. So here it basically concerns itself with being literally aware of what's happening around you at any one given time, being present, And when you're present and you're able to address all your pent-up feelings, and you're able to dissociate and at times even disassociate yourself from certain emotions that you may be having, that will give you some clarity of thought, even as you seek to address and engage in various aspects of digital safety. Okay, then it also includes the ability to differentiate between we call subletives in one's own emotions, whereby when understanding the cause of these emotions and their impact on one's thoughts and actions and those of other people. What emotional awareness also does, it's a very critical emotional intelligence skill that is critical for increasing personal resilience and mental alertness, okay, to become resilient against social engineering attacks and not fall for the various sophisticated emotional manipulation techniques of cyber hackers. The next skill is problem solving and decision making, okay? What is important to keep in mind here is that, remember, our emotions influence the way we solve problems, and they may influence the way we solve our problems, and therefore cloud our judgment. Okay, and as I said earlier on, we process information through the limbic part of our brain, where all our feelings are regulated. So during times of stress and pressure, the amygdala, the part of our brain that concerns with emotions, it controls emotions of fear, anger, and sadness, and sometimes even past experiences that are associated with certain emotions. So the thing is, you can learn to decide to defer depending on your emotional state, okay? And disassociating yourself from the situation by using different perspectives can help you reduce your negative emotions and learn to decide or defer to ensure best optimal outcome possible. So simply put, with problem solving and decision making, once you're able to have clarity of thoughts, clarity of what you want to do, then you're in a better position to address the attack that has happened. Finally, there's optimism. Yeah, optimism is generally an indicator of one's positive attitude and outlook in life. It involves remaining hopeful and resilient during, despite occasional setbacks. And remember, during a cyber attack, the survival mode of the human mind is activated. Okay, so the idea is for you to stay focused on the next right step without using, using words that can make something bigger than it actually is. You need to focus on your locus of control. You know, basically focus on what you can handle. Speak words of empowerment and shift to expect positive outcomes. Okay. And this will help you reframe cyber in a different light, as it often triggers feelings of fear and uncertainty, because, yeah. So simply put, the skill of optimism, the skill of problem solving and decision making, and the skill of emotional awareness are very key skills of emotional intelligence that can make one be better placed to address and handle issues around issues concerning safety in the digital space. So what have we learned? We have looked at what emotional intelligence is, we've defined it. We've looked at the 4 competency models, which are self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and social skills. We've then gone deeper and we've looked at some of the skills that we need of emotional intelligence to make